And good afternoon, everybody, here from the Pittsburgh Curling Club. This is TropiCurl 2025. My name is Dustin Devine here, bringing you all the action. We're going to join our feature game here at the 245 draw in play. We have Team Pierogi from Triangle Curling Club throwing the red rocks with the hammer, and Potomac Shores from the Potomac Curling Club throwing the yellow rocks. Joining me is the I would say patriarch of Team Breeden, Todd Breeden here, last year's defending champion, as they're continuing to try and make their way this year. Unfortunately, not going to be able to defend our title, as we had an unfortunate loss there in our first. But you're still alive here in the C bracket, so thanks for joining me here on the broadcast.
Oh, it's a pleasure, Dustin. Yes, we got into a tough game our second game, and but there's some good competition here, and you can't win every one.
Speaking of our tough competition here, we join this first end in progress right now. Again, Triangle Curling Club with the red rocks. One biter here in the top of the 12-foot. Looks like they're trying to draw around behind it.
They made a bit of a nice split there, so they're sitting two.
Yep. Sitting two, kind of blocking up that draw path as well. Plenty of high guards there on the left-hand side. Can be hard for them to get around that.
The Potomac team has decided to clear off the front a little bit. They don't like all the, well, we don't like to say garbage out front, but there's a wee bit of stuff in their way. So they're going to clean some things up here.
I like to call it strategic rubbish.
That's a good call.
Trying to just find a way to get in on that draw path for their last couple stones. This one coming down looks like it's going to just tick the guard. Tick off the red, bounce back towards the middle, get a little action again there. So kind of opened up a path. Definitely could tap that thrown stone up if they need be.
Yeah, it kind of worked out for them. You don't usually see the team that doesn't have the hammer clearing out the front, but I think they needed to do something. They got a lot of rocks early in the end that they were fighting the weight a little bit, so they got a better chance to maybe get something in there buried now.
Yes, the downside, unfortunately, is you did open it up now. Looks like Triangle is going to try and tap one of those red stones in the top 12-foot back. Sit a little bit more securely underneath the pile, but this one's sailing a little bit wide and is just going to float out there and through the back.
Well, the Potomac team now has a nice little tap. If they could angle one in there nice, they'd be sitting pretty good.
Also looking potentially if they can double out those reds if they catch it thin enough, but that port's a little tight for me on a first end. That may be later in the game when I got a better feel on the ice, but feeling confident in their shot though. They're putting the broom down to hit that red.
Yeah, a bit of an interesting call, but it's open.
You can definitely see all of it here from the get-go. To go to the overhead here, you can see just going to try and catch the left-hand side of that red rock there, sitting, touching the 12-foot. If you hit it a little thick, you might actually be able to roll underneath that yellow as well, that close guard that they have.
Right, or even if they left two yellow rocks up there, they'd be in good position for them.
Stone's on the way. Definitely has enough zip on it. Line looks okay for now. They're trying to wait for it to curl. Here it comes. Crossing the hog line. Gets a piece of the red rock. Chips it underneath though, so.
Yeah, it needed to curl a bit more, or maybe even be a wee bit lighter. It just didn't finish enough for them.
But mission accomplished in cutting red down to one, which, especially without, you don't want red to have too many stones buried there and allow them to build a wall in front and you have no shot at getting to them. So minimizing the damage on that one. And now if you're red, do you just try and guard up or do you try and curl even more underneath?
I think they played this little split before. I think they're either going to try a little split or just draw behind their red.
Going to like to come down this right-hand side. Not as much garbage in the way there. And can easily, with that ice, draw around and get full 8-foot, maybe even approaching the edge of the floor.
They did almost like what we call Christmas treeing it. If you could get it half buried around their own red, and then it makes it awful hard for the yellow team to get in around. They'd have to go inside out.
I can tell you I've had many Christmas trees played against me, and I've not yet figured out how to set one up for myself. So I know it's effective if you can do it. Stone on the way, looks like it's on line. Sweeping here, trying to get it to curl over a little bit.
Maybe actually tick off the yellow.
Oh, look at it cut hard right there. Now it's going to come. Now they're going to try and get it buried. Can they get it buried? And they don't quite get it buried there. A little edge on edge, it looks like, there in the right-hand side of the 8-foot.
If that rock had curled another quarter rock, then they would have had the Christmas tree effect. But they can, with a nice shot here, you could get to almost the nose of that and sit there for shot. But he's got no inside roll here.
And the ice this weekend for June has been pretty curly, so definitely able to, if you have the weight down, definitely can curl across the face of that and roll underneath. Lining up our shot, taking out, and the stone is away. Rock coming down, holding off on it so far. They need to start curling. They need to curl. It looks like it's hanging. Here it comes late, trying to push it over. Gonna catch a thick half of that and actually roll to the right.
Actually, they're shot rock and they're kind of half buried in front of that other yellow that's just in front of the 12-foot. So it's going to be a tricky shot to get the two.
Yeah, very nice shot there to actually put some pressure.
They've got to try a new turn here. No one's played this turn, so out to the wings here.
And you always hate with your key shot coming up or your skip stone, your last shot at the end to be like, well, we've never thrown this line. Let's figure out how it goes. This is hammer. So needing to at least get this to count for one. If they can chip it out, get there two. Otherwise, it'll be a steal of one for yellow.
Yeah, yellow actually ended up in a pretty good spot there.
And sometimes, especially early or even late in the games, I know I'm hesitant to throw out into the weeds, out into the wings there, because you don't, over the course of the game, get a lot of traction out that way. This stone on its way, though. Sweeping it hard, trying to get it to curl over. Can we get it over and catch that yellow?
He's close.
Coming down to it, and just catches a thick corner. Now will it stick around the back?
Sure does. It's in the 8-foot. That's a great shot for two.
Fantastic shot there. So we'll start with an opening skips deuce for Triangle Curling Club here after the first 10. This is kind of the middle of our Saturday action here at the tournament. Again, we've had 40 teams here from across the U.S. and Canada. Todd, I know you've been here a couple times, right?
Oh, I think at least maybe 12, 13 times. We used to come here when they had the event at the Robert Morris complex. And then they built this beautiful curling club here. And we've been to this one probably at least 4 times since it's been here, like after COVID and stuff. And yes, we don't miss it. It's on our curling calendar every year.
Yes, you guys, always a favorite team when you guys come in. Always a good time playing and great games with you guys. So we're thankful you guys keep coming back every year.
This might be getting harder for me, the patriarch of the family. Those kids still let the old guy curl with them. I play with my 2 daughters and my son. But so far, they're still letting me play with them. So far, so good.
Oh, I don't want to be around with that awkward conversation. Dad, maybe you could just, refill our drinks for us. We'll get thirsty out there. I'm still finding local curlers to play. I haven't gotten my family into it just yet, and I'm not sure they will. They don't like being cold, and I try and explain to them, when you're sweeping, you're not cold. That doesn't seem to go over well. So,
no, especially my 2 daughters, the 2 youngest ones, pretty much grew up in our local curling club, and they would play in the adult leagues when they were in their teens, early teens, and that's how you get into the game early at an early age, and it's always a lot of fun.
But curling fun for people at any age, and that's one of the great things about curling. You can play it against people, older people, younger people, play against people that are using a stick to deliver, people that are in wheelchairs. It's just a great social one, so there's no bad time to start. Just obviously, the sooner you start, the more hooked you get and the better you get.
Yes, one of the few sports that's really kind of age neutral. Let's put it that way. You can all different ages can participate, and all skill levels. It's a very good game for that.
Back to the action here in the second end. So far, just a bunch of guards kind of guarding the top of the house here. 2 for red on the right-hand side, 1 yellow on the left. Looks like Potomac now is going to try and draw around those red guards thrown by Triangle. Try and beat them to the button here early.
Yeah, these teams like throwing up the stuff up front, so it makes for interesting ends. Of course, with the five rock rule, they can't eliminate any of those rocks, and so it's a pretty good strategy. But you've got to eventually get some rocks in play.
Yes, fortunately, you cannot score unless you have rocks in the house. But sometimes, especially if you're not feeling too great on your draw weight, or if you don't know that, you can throw a couple guards, and as long as they're not covered, tap them up for an opportunity to score as well. So it looks like, especially early in the game when everybody's trying to still get a feel for the line of the ice and the speed of the ice, you'll tend to see a little bit more guards being thrown up. This one coming in on the left-hand side, though, it will be by the guards, starting to curl back towards the center. Going to come to rest in the back of the 8-foot.
It's a little deeper than he wanted. He'd rather be up in the top 4, top 8, because it offers the Potomac team a chance to come down. Even if they're a little heavy, they can use that for backing.
Looking in at the folks watching our live chat.
Have I got any of my Canadian neighbors watching?
Nevin Breen says, get rid of the commentator. He knows nothing about curling. So.
That's my son.
Yeah. This rock not going to get around the guard, tap it up, and splits open a path there for Potomac to try and draw through. Triangle electing now to use that path as well and trying to beat him to the top of the 4-foot.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's a race to the 4-foot right now.
And sometimes that's all you need. Sometimes it's whoever gets there first, especially with a lot of guards in play, comes away with the points.
And we got 5 of them out front there. There's a lot of guards.
Yes, five guards, all pretty about the same depth too.
This one's got a little mustard on it. I think if it doesn't tap their back red, it's going to go through.
And that's exactly what it does. Comes just through the back. So, right idea. The line was there. Just a little too much pep on that stone.
Yep, you can't. They never count when they're back in the hack.
So now Potomac looking like they're going to just try and follow down, do anything you can do, I can do better. So just follow that same line, get underneath all that cover, but stay in the paint.
I think he's playing the hit. He's playing the inside-out hit here.
Oh.
It's a little surprising.
Here's the outtone here, crossing the center line, trying to get it to come over, hit that red stone. I think we're going to get it. Coming down, and
he got the nose hit, but he's left it in the open.
Yes, that's the only downside of the hit is good if you can get the roll, but if you don't get the roll and you sit nose, you pretty much just replace that rock and give your opponents the chance to do the exact same shot if they feel confident. And based upon the broom, that's exactly what they're doing. Triangle stone on the way. Sweeping hard.
Got pretty good weight. I think he might get. No, it looks like pretty much be a nose roll. Nope, a nose hit.
Yep, just a nose. Tried to curl it a little, hold that line so it would roll underneath a little bit, but still just curled a little bit too much over and allowed that stone to just smack right on the nose and sit there, still for shot, but open and exposed for Potomac to come down and make a play on it.
Yeah, they're still looking for this hit and roll.
We've got the hit part down. We've got to get the roll part. That's the tricky part.
Exactly.
Stone on its way here from Potomac. Coming down. Again, trying to sweep, hold that line. They want to hit the inside and roll underneath.
They're just going to lose it. I think they got the nose the nose again.
Yep.
They keep throwing at this. One of these teams are going to get this shot.
Yes. The first one that gets that roll, very good chance of coming away with the points this end. Also, each stone hit inching them closer and closer to the front of the house.
And that's important. If you get with a nice roll above the tee line is what you ideally want.
This rock on the way looks a little bit heavier than the last couple, but coming over, gets the roll.
Got a beautiful roll, and he's behind all kinds of that granite out front.
Absolutely. Let's take a look here at the overhead. Probably could only see maybe about a half of that rock at most.
That forces the Potomac team to try the yellow run back. That's what they're going to do. They got their yellow rock on the center line. They're going to try to nose that and run it back. Hopefully it's about a 6-foot run back, and that's the plan. They run their yellow back and nose the red.
Sweeper's on it early out of hand, trying to hold that line. Coming down the center line, just starting to cross. Just gets across the face, though, and is going to peel that open.
Curl too much on them.
Now does temporarily open up a big draw path for Potomac, who has hammer here in the second end. But I think Triangle's going to immediately try and replace that guard there right at the top of the house on the center line.
Yep, that's exactly the plan. They'd love to steal one more end here. They got a nice rock just a little bit behind the button, but in a really good spot to steal an end. So they'd like a guard on the center line, fairly close to the rings, so that the Potomac team can't draw around it and tap it back a little bit. They want some separation, but closer to the rings makes a little soft hit a lot tougher shot.
Sometimes, though, it's difficult, I know, from playing. If you're throwing a bunch of hits in the end and now you have to throw a draw, or now you have to throw a guard, you're already kind of juiced up from throwing all those hits, and now you got to dial it back. You don't want to be deep in here and give them an opportunity for them to come down, something to freeze on as well. So,
but you get your skipper throwing here, and that's why they pay him the big bucks. They
that's
make
right.
The guards and the draws.
Yes, the skipper traditionally is your best shot maker on the team to handle these high pressure, very exact shots. This one a little bit deep, but it's going to come to rest still in the top of the 8-foot.
Still a pretty good spot. It's going to be a delicate shot to come down to that one on the button, and there's really no double there that's easy. They're talking it over. They're not really coming up with a plan here. I think that to me is the only two shots: is you actually play the double, or you come down and it looks like he's trying to play a quiet hit to nose the one in the back of the button, and then maybe get a little roll. But the triangle can always, if these guys Potomac makes a really good shot, the triangle guys can always do a run back. So their triangle's sitting pretty good here.
Skip's taking a look from the other end. Sometimes you call the shot here when you're down there, and by the time you get to the other end of the ice, you see, oh, maybe I have a little bit more room than I thought, or maybe a little less room, but looks like we're going to go for that just quiet hit, little roll.
Pretty good looking line here. Oh, starting to move a wee bit on them, but got to get by that top one. Oh, they just nicked it.
Yes, just overcurled a little bit, made a play on actually ticks off the front one. Spills it far enough out of the rings. one to try and get down to that back red stone, because now Triangle's just going to replace that rock and make them try and throw it again.
Triangle just made this shot, so the skips should have a really good idea of the weight and the line to make the Potomac shot a lot harder.
And I would even bet Triangle probably going to throw this one in the rings there, so that way it's against two. You lessen the chance of a blank if you got two in there.
Yeah, you definitely good strategy to get it in the rings. Top 12 would be ideal.
Roxway, this looks a little bit wide. I don't think they were that. I think it's a little wider than they took their last.
It's definitely quieter. It's just got guard weight.
Trying to sweep it now, just trying to get it to come and close that gap in the port there. Just trying to get it there to get it a little bit more, a little less of a window for Potomac to throw down, and they will do so.
Should have an open hit. You can almost blank this end if you got half a rock, and of course by blanking this end, you'd retain the hammer for the third end. You want to make contact. A one would be okay, but a lot of teams would really like to blank this end and carry the hammer forward to the next end.
You can see all that rock. As long as you just get a little bit of movement on it at the right time, you should be able to blank this end. Again, hammer is having the last stone of the end, and traditionally if you have hammer, you want to try and get 2 or more points when you have that advantage. Without any yellow rocks in the house, though, Potomac not able to get 2, so possibly looking here to blank and hold that hammer for another shot next end.
Kind of interesting. 6 guards up there, and they're not guarding anything.
These guards are decorative, not functional.
Oh, he might be on one, though. He's got to move a little bit.
Floating out a little bit, coming back, just papers it.
He just papered the one guard, and he's going to get the one. He's got to get the 1 point.
Yeah, Donna hits it a little too thick and doesn't have enough speed to get out of the house, so a score of 1 for Potomac there in the second end. So after 2 ends of play, Triangle Curling Club leading 2-1 over Potomac.
So we're back in the action here?
Yep, back in the action here. First guard of Potomac here to start the third end. Nice center guard, a little high, but otherwise pretty much splitting that center line. Sometimes when you don't have the hammer and you throw the first stone, you want to try and take away as much of the middle as possible. That's how in curling you score, by getting your rocks closest to the middle. So putting junk in the way and kind of forcing to the outside sometimes, better if you're able to do that to try and steal a point or two.
Looks like Triangle is just trying to go out to the wings and get a rock in the 8 or 12 foot, and it looks like pretty good draw weight. What you don't want to do is go behind the tee line, and it's above the tee line. It's a very good shot. Now the Potomac team now either decides to hit it or maybe go around behind their guard. Looks like they're hitting.
Yep, broom is down, stone is away. Coming on in now here, looks like they're trying to hold that line. It's over curling a little bit. Can they catch an inside piece, and it's just going to sneak on by.
Now the Triangle team is going to split the house. They're going to try to get the same kind of weight over onto the other side. Sit 2 in the house.
Sitting 2 in the house as far away as possible. Less likely you could double out those stones. stone is this on the way. This one looks a little heavy though.
I don't think they were on the same page, the skip and the shooter. The shooter's playing a shot around that guard, and the skip kind of wanted it the other way.
The shooter's more trying to draw the back, but this also looks a little bit heavy.
A little miscommunication there.
So Todd, how down now 2-1 without hammer? How should Potomac try and press for a steal here?
Well, they've got the nice center guard up, and personally, I wouldn't be hitting this one too early. I'd like either another center guard, or to get in there buried behind us, above the tee line, because you got to get the triangle team chasing you. So I think they're just a little hit heavy right now, because they made a nice hit. They got a roll, but the problem is that rock is open, and the triangle team is just going to hit that rock.
That way. And one of those. Sorry for the audio disruption there, folks.
Yeah, they basically they've thrown up that nice center guard, but they really haven't used it yet.
Mm-hmm. And that draw attempt, that hit rolling not quite underneath now, you see easily exposed and cleared there by triangle.
Now the Potomac has a good opportunity now to get in behind the center guard, and that's what the skip is calling.
Getting in behind the center guard would require typically triangle with hammer to start peeling those guards, and anytime you can get your opponents wasting rocks, peeling your rocks, definitely kind of shrinks the opportunities they have to start scoring multiple points in men. This rock though on its way, the line looks okay. They're sweeping it, trying to make sure they get the weight there. They don't want to be light again. You don't want to throw too many guards up now, because if the triangle gets behind it, now they flip the script on you. This one, they're going to come in here just close. Can we get it into the top of the 12-foot?
Just a little short.
Just about a rock short. Triangle so electing just to get everything out of the way. Especially having seen how that last end went with 6 rocks in play.
Yes.
Well, let's try no guards in front this time. Hanging out a little bit wider than they think they anticipated, and that's going to just a little fat hit and roll over to be a corner guard.
Corner guard. That's what you want when you have the hammer. You'd like to have corner guards, and that allows you to spread the rocks out. But if you can get your rocks behind corner guards, it's always a good strategy when you have the hammer.
Yes, does two things. Gets rocks in play, scoring hopefully behind guards, but leaves the middle open still ideally for your skip. So if they do get a rock in there, you still have plenty of scoring opportunities in the middle of the sheet.
That's right.
Looking now like Potomac's going to try and draw back under their center guard, this time from the right side.
It's interesting. Maybe a better shot would have been to peel that corner guard. The center line guard instead of the corner guard, and use their corner guard. It could have been a strategy. If they buried one, the Potomac team really nice behind that center guard, you're kind of like, why didn't we get rid of it? But they did come in behind, and they're very deep. They're like back 12.
Back 8.
Yeah,
back 8, back 12. Just on the right side of the center line. So
the triangle team is going to try to come down and put one on the button, and if they're a little heavy again, they could use this for backing.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the downside if you were behind the tee line, your opponents can have their stone come down and sit right in front of yours, and then they're closer to the button, which is what helps you score. But also, it's harder for them to remove your rock now because they have to pretty much move one of their own first to get out of the way.
This looks like a pretty good shot. Maybe there. Yes, he's just light. He'd like to throw that about 6 feet deeper.
Mm-hmm.
He's put a center guard up when they have hammer, and it's not the best shot.
Potomac now likely just trying to draw down.
Another draw attempt for Potomac here. They're not sweeping it, so they figure there's lots of weight, maybe a little heavy. Looks like they might come down to their back one.
Yeah, just a little heavy, and really that the heavier you throw the stone, the less it curls, the faster it's going. So if you throw a little too heavy on it, it doesn't quite come underneath like you want, and just that one there ticks off the yellow in the back, and now sits two, but right next to each other, pretty much in the back 8 foot.
Basically, almost catchers for the red rocks if they came down to them.
Red trying to take advantage of that now. Stone already on its way, coming down, going to play down towards those back yellow rocks. These teams playing quickly here, obviously cognizant of the time here in this tournament. You have a 90-minute timer to complete 6 ends. If you complete those 6 ends, you get to play 2 more ends, possibly, for a full 8 ends. If you don't, you get to finish the end you're on and play 1 more. So these skips obviously being cognizant of that time, trying to make sure they have a lot of the time still left for thinking as you get down towards the 5th and 6th end, when those shots really start to add up and matter.
The Potomac skip's kind of hustling down the ice here. The triangle did come down to those 2 rocks, and they eliminated one, and they're actually kind of corner frozen onto the other. So it ended up being a good shot.
I think this is what Potomac's looking at right here. Just another heavy kind of draw down to that red. Chip it out the back, and if they can roll in front of their yellow 2, that'll allow them to kind of protect that shot in the back of the house.
I think even a better shot would be just if you get top 4 on this shot, around behind that guard. But if it had to go back, they would take it back.
Well, they're sweeping here, so it looks like a little bit lighter. They may be trying for that top 4 after all. Sweeping it for weight.
They're by the guard. Looks like a great weight here.
That's going to finish right there.
Top 4.
Top 4 for shot.
Touching top 4 is a very good shot, and that yellow rock is buried. They've really shrunk the scoring area for the triangle team. He hasn't got much real estate to get a shot in there for shot rock.
And when you don't have hammer, you can just steal one. You don't need to steal a bunch of them. You don't need to steal 3 or 4. Just steal one and really kind of put the pressure on your opponents to try and make that up with their next hammer.
Yep, it's better to get one in there really good as opposed to having 2 or 3 that are not in such good position. Looks like he's going to try to come down and draw. Again, it's going to be kind of hard to get around that guy and bury it, but
there is a little bit. You could come to the back button. You could sneak it by, sit not ideally behind T there, right in the back of the button, but if you kind of get it in the way, get it around there and just get it a little bit buried, then it's also, with so many centerline guards, whoever's closest, because now you just keep multiplying how difficult it is to get around everything.
That second guard, the red rock, was not a good shot for the triangle. It's really in their way right now.
Stone's on its way. They're trying to hold the line out here, and this is actually going to chip off the yellow or the red rock.
It was off the yellow. Didn't move it very much. He's going to be kind of in the same predicament. Potomac could draw a second one in there and maybe work on try to steal 2 here. The only thing they don't want to do, though, is put a rock in a place that could give the triangle team an easy double to get out of this from 2. So it's a very important rock to place in a good spot here right now.
Yeah, you're either going to try and come behind that yellow or maybe freeze to the top of it. Any kind of separation there gives them possibility of double to split those 2 yellows off, and then red will be sitting shot in the back of the 8 foot.
That's right. And they would get their 2. Your other option would be just throw another guard up there and to force the triangle team again to another hard draw, and be happy in stealing the point and possibly tying the game. This is the one where the skip's in the house, and the sweepers or the skip will say to each other, goes, light's okay here. You don't want to be too deep.
Trying to
Looks
make
like
sure
a
it hold
pretty good line.
Yep. Trying to hold a little bit so it doesn't over curl on him. Getting the weight down, trying to keep it right down. Ticks off, the yellow actually rolls over to the right.
Yeah, just a little unfortunate. I think the triangle team could make a little hit and roll and get their one. You kind of let them off the hook a little bit. They still got to make the shot, but they could make a hit and roll for their one.
Is there ever a double? A fin just catch, have it over curl, catch the right side of the stone there in the top of the forefoot into the stone on the side of the forefoot?
Really tough. Really tough.
But you're saying there's a chance.
There's a chance, but
safer just to hit the one on the right side and roll underneath.
the one on the left is quite well protected. Here he goes, playing a hit and roll. He's a little wide here, though. I don't think he's going to get to the inside of this rock.
No, that one's just going to keep sailing a little bit there.
Got lucky. He didn't jam back on the back red, so it's going to be a steal one.
So steal of one from Potomac's going to tie this up after 3 ends of play. It is Triangle Curling Club 2, Potomac 2.
Tie game.
Take a look around some of the other games here. We do have 2 streams here for this tournament. One, our feature sheet here, which you're watching. The other stream has all 4 games underway right now being played. So taking a look around some of the other sheets. After 2 ends of play, Pittsburgh is up 3-2 on sheet A. Team Oberlander is up 4-3 against Team Weiss on sheet C, and Bucks on the Beach is trailing Team Ballercheck 1-3 over on sheet D. So all those games can be seen on our other stream here on the Pittsburgh Curling Club's YouTube channel. Again, back here on our feature sheet, sheet B, we have Triangle versus Potomac tied at 2 after 3 ends of play. Dustin Devine here alongside Todd Breeden, bringing you the play-by-play and action of this feature sheet here on our 2:45 draw on the moving day Saturday of TropiCurl.
I like that moving day.
You're either moving on or you're moving out. So
Potomac came a little deep. I think they wanted a guard, and they came into the top 12. And the Triangle team was probably playing a less aggressive shot by, instead of throwing maybe a corner guard, they went for the hit, and they were a little wide, and they actually ticked the yellow rock a little thin, but the yellow rock stayed in play over on the wings in the 12-foot. So now they're going to try to throw a guard up here, and it looks like a pretty good guard, something they can use to try to bury some of their rocks behind. Looks a really good center guard. That's a very good center guard. You're about 2 feet from the rings. That's an ideal center guard.
yes, if your guard's too high, still plenty of opportunity and distance for your opponent to curl that stone around. The closer to the rings you get, the harder it is to get around those guards. Triangle going to try here, though. Coming down the right side, though. This one looks like it might be a little up. Trying to grind to a halt here as it crosses the hog line, though, and make a turn. I just think it's going to have just a little too much.
Never good when the sweepers walk away from it before it's even crossed the hog line.
Yeah, if they're following the rock and then they just stop, but he keeps going, that lets you know you might have put a little too much on that one.
And that rock did just go outside the ring, so the sweepers had it gauged accurately.
So now Potomac going to try and draw underneath the guard again.
Yes, they're trying to use that nice center guard they have. So this is a big shot in this end. If you can get one in behind this guard in like the top 4, top 8, set your end up really nice. Looks like the weight's pretty good, but it's got some curling to do. A little heavy maybe, but
starting to curl here late as the speed comes off of it. That's going to come to the rest in the side of the 4-foot ring.
Should be open.
Yeah, they can see just about all, if not all of that, just about all of that. So definitely going to make a play here. A nose or just a little inside of nose to get a little roll. Ideal here. Rock on its way here. Might be a little inside. We're sweeping to try and hold that line. Sweeping for the line, starting to curl here, and it's going to just catch the guard.
Which is not an awful result. So at the five rock free guard zone, they were allowed to hit that because more than 5 rocks have come down. So peeling that guard is not what we say in curling a good miss, because the Potomac team will now have to replace that guard, and it can be a little tricky sometimes getting that guard again in a good position.
So now Potomac going to try and replace that guard up there. Obviously, sitting 2 in the house, wanting to take away as much scoring area as possible.
Looks pretty good here.
This one's going to curl a little bit more. Kind of come to rest there on the right-hand side.
Real good shot.
Very nice and shot just in front of the house, in front of their shot rock and a 4-foot. Going to force triangle to peel that guard again. And like I said before, if I'm making you waste rocks peeling guards, you're not putting points on the board for it.
It's a problematic rock, so they've got to deal with it.
Peel attempt is on the way. This one looks like it's floating out a little bit. Is it going to catch a piece? It does.
That was a good peel.
Yep. Jammed on the red corner guard, actually, so red corner guard still sitting up there.
And Potomac, with their vice now, who has not thrown this shot, is going to try to replace this guard. Always remember that on a four-man team, each curler throws 2 rocks each. So their second had this draw down really well. We'll see if the vice can match it.
It's a shame it's not like baseball, where if the pitcher's doing what, I can just leave him in there.
Exactly. Looks like a pretty good line. I like the weight.
Might be a little light there. They're going to try and move it in a little bit closer here. Otherwise, it's going to be pretty high there on the center line. Oh, here it comes. Getting a good sweep, getting it over. That's a solid 2-3.
Yeah, this didn't quite curl enough. The yellow shot rock will be open. Now they'll try to hit and maybe roll behind the guard that the Potomac just put up there. Would be a pretty good shot for the triangle team.
Yes, can see everything there, and actually with the corner guard and that center guard, they can kind of hit and roll either way.
Yes, that's a good point. Looks like he's going to go for the outside roll. Might be on the outside guard though. Oh, look at this! It's going to come over and knock out the Potomac. Oh, not quite.
No.
He almost got a break there.
Almost got a catcher there on the left-hand side, but just tapped it and spilled over the top.
Just not quite the right angle. That would have been a bit of a lucky shot if they made that. That's definitely not what they called.
Now Potomac definitely wanting to guard that up. If they can get those 2 yellow guards side by side in front of the shot rock there, really apply the pressure here to triangle.
Nothing better than one good guard is you get a second good guard up there.
Stone on its way. They seem to be happy, just kind of cleaning in front here. Now trying to hold the line a little. They don't want to overcurl too much, but this looks like it's going to come into the house.
It's maybe a little heavy. Not bad though.
Not too bad. It's going to come to rest just in the top of the 4-foot.
Yeah, a couple feet lighter would have been better, but again, it's not an easy double.
Sitting just above Joey Magneto's palm there. The magnet mascot there of K&J Magnetics. So
this hit looks a little wide again. He might get the back one maybe. I don't think he's on the front one.
Yeah, this outside hit line just doesn't seem to be curling. as much as they anticipate. But
He did hang into the rings though for second shot,
Yep.
which might come into play as the rocks as we move along through this end. We're down to skip rocks though, but it's getting a bit late in the end though.
skips rocks, but it's far enough away that they don't seem like they're too concerned about it. So if you get a key miss here, you might be able to put the 2 back in play as well.
It's true. I'm not sure if he's just guarding this or maybe a little tap. You could do either one. If you don't make a little bit, you don't make enough separation, you could set up an easy double. I kind of think he's going to be playing another guard with that amount of ice. He's pretty happy with that yellow rock in top 4. That's golden for him right now, so he's going to try to guard this.
Stones on the way, feel like they've got the right line.
Weight looks pretty good.
Starting to turn now as it comes down. Oh, really? He took a dive. They decided to sweep on it. Can they get a little bump off of their guard and roll over? No, let's do an over curl.
Over curl too much on them. This yellow rock's going to be open, and now the 2 is definitely in play with a hit and stick.
Yep.
They get a little bit of a roll and
Just
get
flop
behind
on the other
those.
side of the K there, and
They could get a little bit of a roll and get behind these 2 yellow rocks. The 2 yellow rocks are not lined up very well for a hit. So this could be a key shot. A little hit and roll here for red would set them up really nice. And that's the triangle team.
there's triangle with hammer here in the 4th end. Tie game at 2 apiece. You can hear some of the excitement here in the warm room as people are watching other games going on. Stone's on its way. They're sweeping for the line, though, trying to hold that line, keeping off those guards.
It's close.
Gonna get close.
Spy. Nice shot. Little roll here. Oh,
Very nice.
that's almost maybe roll a little bit too much, but it's a pretty good shot. It's going to be tricky to get that red out and keep your own rock in there for shot.
Great sweep there by the sweepers, holding that line as much as they could to try and hit his nose as they possibly could in that rock and get that little roll over. So Potomac now sensing that the 2's back in play needs to make sure that this rock goes away.
The real danger is if you actually threw it a little tight and got onto those guards, you could bring 3 into play. Almost call this shot a teaser. You're showing them like half a rock and
Just enough to entice you, like, yeah, I can hit that. I can get that little hit. And now they're sweeping it hard out of hand, trying to hold that line. They're worried about it.
worried to get it by that guard. Oh,
And
and he's
it's
nicking this
gonna-
guard. He's going to bring the 3 into play.
Yes, nicks off the guard, spills both yellows out. And now, Potomac just having to draw.
Draw for 3. They got the two Potomac rocks in there, but they're rocks 3 and 4. So they're not going to be counting unless the triangle made a big mistake. I can't see them doing that.
Triangle just needing to get this rock completely inside the blue ring to get a score of 3 and take a big lead here at the halfway point.
That end changed in a couple shots. It was looking very good for Potomac to steal one, maybe 3-4 rocks ago.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, a couple half shots, and Triangle got a shot for 3.
Final stone to the 4th end on its way here.
This is where you pay the skip the big bucks to make these draws. You don't like to leave these points off the board, these free shots.
Sweepers though hard, trying to make sure it gets to the rings.
I think he's underthrown this.
Trying to get there, can they get it by the guard? Can they get it by?
No.
No, they cannot.
Through it. There's a free point they left off the board.
So score of 2 for Triangle Curling Club, now leading 4-2 after 4 ends. And yes, key shots like that Key shots like that are why you pay the skips the big bucks and the skips pay the sweepers the big bucks to sweep when they miss a big shot. But still, able to get 2 points there and take a 4-2 lead here at the halfway point. And back to live action here in the 5th end. Team Pierogi from the Triangle Curling Club leading 4-2 over Potomac Shores from the Potomac Curling Club. Potomac Shores trying to now tie this game back up with hammer here in the 5th end.
They've got a nice corner guard up there, and it looks like they're trying to go around it. Looks like a pretty good line. I'm a little worried about the weight. Oh,
Just a touch heavy, going to drag to the back of the house and right through. So great line, but again, just a little too heavy, not allowing that rock to stop in time. Now Triangle deciding to draw underneath their own guard there, or if it's even short, not bad, taking away that draw path there on the left-hand side.
Yeah, it makes sense that they draw behind their nice, just off-center guard. And that's what they're trying to do. It's a little light here, though. Looks like they might throw another guard up front here. Curling hard. It's underthrown rock, so that rock's going to curl more. Ends up being a pretty good center guard.
Yep, coming to rest there, right on the center line. Really taking away any ability to come too much from that left-hand side there for Potomac.
The Potomac's trying to take advantage of their opponent's guards and maybe sneak one in there on them. Almost a race to the button, as we call it in curling.
Kind of reminiscent of that first end, whenever who could get behind that guard first.
This looks a little quiet too. They're really sweeping this one hard. Looks like it's going to be maybe to the rings. No, they couldn't quite get it there. Hard sweeping.
Yep.
They were giving it everything they could. And we're back to an end with a lot of rocks up front.
Yes. 4 rocks in front, not really guarding anything though, as that shot rock from Triangle is a little exposed there on the right side. They seem to think so as well, so looking like they're going to try and throw just maybe a little tap to either tap it over or tap and roll underneath and kick it out behind the tee line. Trying to really get this rock, one of these two rocks, back towards that button.
And the two red rocks up front are we call staggered guards. If you can get anything over behind them, it makes it really hard to make any runbacks or anything to get at them. This looks like a pretty good shot.
Trying to catch just the outside edge here and bump it over.
Very nice weight.
Very nice soft weight little hit there. Kicking it back towards just the side of the button.
Just off the button, and he's above the tee line. A very nice shot.
The rock that was thrown sitting out there and now being aimed at by Potomac. Trying to at least clear it out of the way so you have maybe a drop back to that red stone. Sweeping hard here, trying to push it out. Are we going to run our yellow guard back? We're going to hit it and just peel it open a little bit.
Yeah, curled a bit too much. And Triangle's going to try to throw another guard up in front of that nice one they got just off the button. Skip is tapping his broom. That's where he'd like the rock.
So it looks like calling for the guard first, but if it's a little heavy, bring it back towards the button there. And always good communication. You, as a team in curling, you have to be able to communicate not only the planned shot, but maybe if we do the planned shot's not going to work, what's the secondary shot? What's the third option possible? And make sure everybody's on the same page.
Old saying in curling, the best shot is sitting second shot, but maybe the better shot here is sitting third shot. These are a little heavy, definitely heavier than they wanted to be.
It'll come down underneath the guard there, but that entire side is exposed.
Not bad though. Kind of looking at a double here.
Yes, that's just what they saw too. Trying to hit this red rock, and then come over off of this red rock here and kick these out.
And possibly sit in front of the, sitting very close to the red shooter rock. That's shot right now. That's the plan. Let's see how it works out here. Oh, it's curling early. Sweeping hard, keep the line. She's close.
Can he hold it? Can he hold it?
Rolls over the top. Very close. They almost made that.
Yes, just a little thick, but able to kick out the one rock, but then rolled over top. The rock there in the top of the 8-foot.
Now a well-placed guard here by the Triangle team. It's going to make the Potomac last three shots even more trickier. This is where you want one close to the rings to guard these two rocks. Because there's really nothing on that other side that's it's all blocked off.
So we're trying to hold this out. Don't want it to over curl too much. But that's always one thing I find a little interesting is trying to judge between I want to sweep to avoid the curl, but I don't want it to go any deeper. I'm trying to find that happy balance between the two of them. This one coming to rest just maybe a little bit over curled, touching the center line there, but that was about the depth they wanted it to be. Any more sweeping to try and hold that rock out might have brought it into the rings and set up a possible another double.
I still think you can get to that back rock and be shot. It's got a curl some here. Might be a little heavy. Trying to sweep it over.
Just a piece of the back one, and you're going to roll it underneath that line. So now all your red rocks lined up there.
Yep.
Pretty much undercover too.
The yellow Potomac rock, not keeping that in play is troublesome.
Now Triangle looking like they're just going to try and throw up another guard as well. Potomac's only shot right now really is a draw right down into here.
They got a tricky angle raise off a yellow one. That's basically a corner guard. The one.
This way?
Yes. But that's not for the faint of heart, that shot.
Yeah, that's a little thin. You could catch this one and spill out this way too, so.
Right. But a good guard here by Triangle may leave that for them.
Yes. May not have any other options after this rock, depending if Triangle can park this right on the right-hand side and take away any drop path.
Potomac got caught in this end a bit with a lot of stuff up front. Maybe they could have opened it up a little bit more. You always want to keep the center open for your skips last two shots, and right now it is not open at all.
Stone on the way here, trying to maintain.
It's got to curl some, but it's definitely guard weight.
And definitely one a little bit deeper. Everybody's sweeping this one. This one's going to check up a high guard there.
Makes our draw really hard going that way, though.
Yep.
It's blocking the draw. I think he's looking at this angle raise.
Potomac with their first skip stone, do you ever just try and blast something in the middle to create a space somewhere?
You could. A lot of teams would. You got to be comfortable with throwing that big weight. Not everybody is. You want to throw. You'd want to move a couple rocks here, so you would throw what we call peel weight at that, and you could get maybe 2 or 3 rocks moving around, open it up a bit. But not everyone's comfortable throwing that kind of weight. Yeah, he's playing the angle tap. Again, this is a shot where you have to throw it well and know the ice, and the person that's the vice is calling the line. Very important that they call the line right to utilize your sweepers to either make it curl more or hold it and make it curl less. It's off.
Stone's on its way down, has plenty of zip, trying to hold that line. They don't want to get too far on nose of their own yellow. It's got to angle backwards. It does.
Oh, you got
and
the back
chips
one.
the back one out. A fantastic shot there by Potomac.
Yep, got rid of one of those. That other guy, you need dynamite to get that thing out there right now, but it's better than it was.
At least gives you a chance now to try and get into the button and get your one to try and cut that deficit in half.
This is an interesting call for the Triangle team. They could get greedy and try to draw another one in there and sit 2, because it's really hard to get in there right now with all those rocks. I would be aggressive and try to go in there and sit 2. Again, the one thing you don't want to do is to set up a double. But
I would also be worried about not getting under cover and sitting behind T, because then that way you're leaving them backing to draw down 2 to get their 1.
Yeah, exactly right.
So this either needs to guard up the hole or sit pretty high in the house, I think.
Yes. But I think it's worth the risk to maybe to go in there and get a second one in there, because the Potomac do not have any path to the button area right now, and they don't have any raises. They got that one yellow way out on the wide spot out there, and that's a real tough angle raise in there.
Stone's on its way. This one seems a little bit heavy though. May try and check up here a little bit as we threw it out into the weeds. Is it starting to come back towards the house?
I think Dustin, you don't want to go deep here. They're sweeping it, so it's not deep.
Trying to get this to check up here, and it goes a little
deep. You could follow that down, but yeah, if they'd have stopped that 2 feet shorter, it would have been ideal.
Yeah, I think I might have tried to hold that off right more about like here, because now you've definitely given Potomac an opportunity to draw right down to this red stone. And apologize to all of our viewers for my not so straight or nice arcing lines. I am definitely not an artist by trade.
Yeah, you kind of maybe let them off the hook here. A real good draw down to this, and
Oh, absolutely. Because I think if you steal one here or able to steal two, up two already, you really could have put the pressure on them. But now Potomac needing to make a T-line draw down to that red stone in the back of the forefoot to get one and cut this deficit in half.
I think they got down and they realized it was a little heavy at the end, and they were sweeping it to take it back even a little further.
To try and really overbury it so that way they couldn't come down to
and
it.
then they just can't come down to it.
Stone's on its way though now. Looks like the sweeper's trying to hold that line out. Don't want this to overcurl on the guard. Can they get it by?
Really close.
Can they get it by as it comes in?
He's by the guard.
Just sneaks by the guard now.
And he's right down to that rock that triangle put there.
Right down to the red stone there. Taps it back, sits there for one. So a big clutch shot there
Very
by
nice.
the Potomac Curling Club to cut this deficit in half.
A nice shot by the skipper.
Your score after 5 ends now. Potomac 3 to Triangle 4. And so back here at the Pittsburgh Curling Club, score 4-3 in favor of Triangle Curling Club throwing red stones. Potomac Curling Club throwing the yellow stones. Potomac with a clutch draw there in the 5th end, down to the back forefoot to able to take one point and cut the lead in half. Starts off this end with a high center line guard.
Triangle really wants to score in this end. It's the 6th end. You're always important if you could score in the even ends and force your skip to hammer on your opponent for hammer in the odd ends. So what we like to call this is the 2-1-2. Score 2 in the 6th, force your opponent to 1, and you could score 2 in the 8th. That's kind of the strategy that you'd like to. And of course, by being up 1, a 2-1-2 would guarantee them the win.
Started off well there with a nice tight corner guard. Potomac now trying to draw underneath their center guard, trying to beat Triangle to the button there and shrink that scoring zone. This looks like it's a little inside, might tick off the center guard. Nope, just by it. Now going to come to rest in the top of the house.
Yeah, very good weight. Above the tee line, which is key. A good shot by the lead.
Maybe overcurled by just a hair, but not too bad. I'm pretty sure Triangle's going to elect to try and draw.
They're going to use their corner guard, which is a good strategy. You put that corner guard up, use it.
I know a lot, sometimes especially newer curlers or inexperienced curlers, once you get one in the house, they feel like they have to chase and neglect those corner guards. So you throw a beautiful corner guard and then you don't come anywhere near it the rest of the time. Yeah. Triangle here, a little more experienced, trying to come down to it. This stone, though, looking like it's just going to overcurl.
You're going to end up with another corner guard, which not as good as the other one, but they got some rocks. That's good.
We can use that later.
Yep.
And Potomac now, though, going to just try and come down and start plugging up that middle.
Yes. Back in the old days, before these 3 and 4 and 5 rock 3 guard zone rules, a lot of teams would just be blasting that yellow, but you can't do that anymore. This they've changed the rules so that there's a lot more offense in curling. And back in when I started curling, like 30 years ago, you could have 2-1 games where everyone would just hit everything. And then back in Canada, where I come from, and it's a lot of TV coverage for the things like the Scotties and the Briars. There was a lot of complaints that the curling was getting too boring, and that's why we now have a 5-guard free guard zone to generate offense and make the curling the game it should be, a nice to watch with lots of action, not just bang bang bang.
So lots of just, if there's a stone out there, we're hitting it.
Exactly. and as the ice got better, like over the years, ice and better refrigerated plants and stuff, these professional curlers can hit so well. If you didn't have a free guard zone, all games would be 3-2, 1-0, 2-1 kind of games.
Speaking of a hit there, Triangle tried to make a run at that Potomac stone. It's just overcurled a little bit. It's going to peel off one of those center guards there.
Which is a good result.
Yep. Potomac now immediately going to put it back.
There's a very high guard up there just over the hog line. It's a good guard that's on the center, but it's so high it may not come into effect, but it's something in the way.
This one looks a little hot though.
It's coming into the rings. Could tap this rock. Put these two rocks close together, could give the Triangle team a good chance at a double and kind of getting out of trouble here.
Yes, you could make a nice double on that one. There's those two stones pretty close together there.
The skip got his broom up for that shot very quickly.
Stone's on its way, plenty of speed, trying to hold that line. Now the sweeper's running with it, and it's just going to catch the outside of the top rock, which will jam on the back stone. So
had to curl some more.
Yes, gets one out, but still leaves a yellow stone there.
And we're back to throwing a guard in front of this rock again. Back where we were about 3 shots ago.
Sometimes that's good curling. Just repeat the last. Repeat it. Oh, I put a guard up. They peeled it. Put another guard up. They peeled it.
Yeah, that happens a lot in curling.
And Potomac, being down here, really trying to put as many guards in front of their stone. The only stone in the house counting right now, so they're trying to wall that stone off and get a steal to tie this game back up.
It'd be a big end for Potomac if they could steal this in. And
this stone going to overcurl a little bit, but still a nice centerline guard, but they could still see about half of that rock.
It's a pretty good. It's going to be tough to hit and roll and get to the inside here.
Yeah, kind of was one of those like peeking out stones, like you were talking about earlier. Just daring you. I dare you to come hit me.
Right. You could hit and roll out to wide, or you could nick the guard. Looks not too bad. Looks a little wide. He could hit this and roll out. It's got to curl some.
Trying to make a little play here at the end
Oh,
to catch
he
it
just
over.
missed it.
Oh, and just misses it. Just skins by it. I didn't see any daylight between those two stones as they went through there.
Now, you always, in curling, you always talk about a good miss. And a good miss would have been a little tighter there and to nick the guard out of the way if you weren't going to get the shot stone. That ended up being a bad miss because you didn't hit anything. And the Potomac can throw even a better guard now.
Yes. And then it wasted no time, right into the hack and right out here, throwing this a little bit wider so that they can take away that outside edge. Sweeping though, trying to get it across the hog line as deep as they can, especially here as you get to the later ends. If you haven't played to those edges very much, those edges can get a little frosty and really kind of slow up your rock and grind it to a halt there. But looks like it got it back just enough to really make that outside edge a little difficult to see.
He's got to go through a fairly tight port there, you're right. He's well out there. Looked like that guard they put up is going to be a good guard for them. He's going to nick that guard. Oh, he might get a little.
A little tap on the red on top of the house, but just going to push it outside.
I thought he was going to hit that a little thin and roll that red into the house, but the angles just weren't there. I think he's still got to throw another guard up there.
I think so too.
Oh, he's maybe coming in. That's the decision. Do you be aggressive and come in, or do you just throw a guard? Remember, it's always nice to be sitting two in there. Again, you don't want to place this that gives the triangle team an easy out, maybe with a possible double.
Yeah, that's the danger of even either shot the guard or throwing into the house. If you don't get it in the right spot, you could leave a double. So it might just be better just to throw a higher guard up here.
Skip's first shot in this end.
Stone is away. Sweepers seem happy with the weight, if not a little bit up.
Definitely into the rings. Coming down now, though.
Now I'm going to try and nudge it over towards that stone.
I don't think it's going to curl. It could set up. That's what. Now they're trying to take it a bit deeper. He's got away with it. He'd rather have been above the tee line, and but in the back, it's not a horrible shot. They still have the hit, the triangle team here. It's a little heavy.
Yeah, that one coming to rest just outside the back of the 8-foot. In perfect line with it, so I think they had the line down. Just a little too much pep on that step.
They've had this shot about 3 or 4 times this end. You keep giving a curling team the same shot, they're going to make it eventually. They definitely know where to put the broom for where to aim this shot. They just seem to be flicking everything a little wide.
Just a little bit wide on that release there. Just sailing out there. And with this speed, it's not going to have a chance to come back. Sweeper's trying to carve it over, see if they can get a piece of one of the two of them. Just gets a piece of the yellow stone in the 4-foot. And
yes, he got over the ring.
Just enough to get it outside the rings. So,
but he really wanted to curl a bit more to keep his rock in play.
Yep. It's unfortunately spilling out there, costing him a chance at a deuce.
The one red rock that might come into play in this end, if the Potomac, when you're shooting yellow here, can make a nice draw, there is a nice red rock just up off the center line that could be used for a raise or a tap late on the skip's last shot. So that could be a key rock yet. A real nice draw here would put a lot of pressure on a triangle team. You should know this weight. He just threw this shot the one before.
This one looks a little wide too. Now trying to push it over.
Definitely better weight.
Sweeping hard, trying to get this to carve back, sit in front of their yellow stone in the house.
Pretty good.
They'll get it there.
Pretty nice weight. He's just biting the top 4. He threw that well.
Very nice. Nicely lined up. And really now going to try and force Potomac to their 1.
He's got a delicate hit for 1 here. He does not want to roll out. Again, they've had this shot a few times, so they should know the line.
Now, if there's a shot that you've had a couple times and you keep missing it, do you ever then think, maybe I should try the other side? Maybe I should try the tap up there?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you could. But the other side's kind of blocked off. So the other shot you've got, you don't really have a draw on the other side, and you've got 5-foot tap back. I think a fairly open hit is an easier shot than a 5-foot tap back. We'll see if they'll make it this time.
Final stone of the 6th end on the rim.
Oh, I think it picked.
Yes.
No. I think it maybe had a weak handle. He might do this tap here yet. Oh.
Yeah. Now it seems to be
Now it's
coming
going
back
through.
the other handle.
Oh. Yes. That rock, we call that a pick and curling. It lost its handle and it was kind of hovering like it was out of control, which is a real bad luck for the Triangle team. It results in a steal of 2 for the Potomac team, a huge steal of 2, and they take the lead.
Yeah, so pick stone's kind of like a knuckleball in baseball. You don't know where it's going to go. It's going to decide on its own, and all you can do is kind of watch.
That's very good. It was a knuckleball for sure.
And just like that. And just like that.
It's funny, at one time it looked like it might tap.
Oh yeah, because it started to go, then it stopped, then it started going back the other way. So those are terrible when you throw them, but they're interesting to watch.
And if somebody beats you on one of those,
yes. But a good end set up by Potomac there, getting a key steal of 2, now going up by a score of 5-4 after 6 ends. And they did finish that 6th end in their allotted 90 minutes, so they are eligible to play both remaining ends to a full 8-end game. And typically when you have a tight game like this, back and forth, trading, up 1, down 1, those games tend to go that full 8 ends, and the team's really trying to hunker down here in the last couple.
This is always an interesting strategy spot here. A lot of teams will try to blank this end with the hammer because they will, if they can blank this end and bring home in the 8th end with the hammer, and they don't really want to be forced to score 1 to get because that'll leave the other team with hammer in the 8th.
Yes.
You really want to get a multiple score here, or you want to blank the end. It's kind of a strange sport in that you almost get punished at times to score 1. And it's one of the few sports that, like in baseball, you never decline scoring a run in an inning. Or in a hockey game, you never, we don't want to get a goal right now. But in curling, at times, it does work to your disadvantage to score 1 because the hammer flips to the other team. It's one of the very interesting parts of the curling and curling strategy.
And considering how close of a game it's been and how each team is reading the ice and the ice is changing, what adjustments would you make here at the end of the game to try and, do you try and play a little more aggressively? Do you try and play more, conservatively and sure-footed and keep the game simple?
I think, you have to play to your team's strengths. If you're a good hitting team, then you hit and keep things clean. But if you're a better drawing team and you're a better throwing guards, I would play your team's strengths and trust your team's strengths.
So Triangle second stone here at the end just comes down and just chips the yellow Potomac stone, but not enough to get it out. And actually bumps that Potomac stone kind of behind those guards. So, but sitting in the back of the 8-foot, still very easy to get down to that stone. So Potomac looks like they're going to try and draw this side and put another stone in line behind those guards a little bit higher up in the house, make it a little bit harder to get to that button.
I think they might have told him that you don't want to be heavy, be light, and he's definitely light, and they're going to throw another guard up, which is not a bad play for Potomac. Again, the Triangle team, they get too many guards up, cuts down the skip's chances for getting to this button. So ran right up, and he says, I want some of these guards cleared out of here.
Absolutely. Here, after the 5th end of the 5th stone of the end, able now to start peeling these guards and wants to not run into what he had last end where things got buried behind and he couldn't get back to him. So we're going to try and take him out now while we can.
Play it a little cleaner.
Stone on the way here. Looks like it's going to just catch the end and chip off both of those guards.
We got 2 guards out of there. He kind of left the shooter in the way a bit, but there's no. It's better 1 guard up there than 2. And that rock eventually could be raised, or
Yes, now instead of having a yellow stone in front of a yellow, now it's your stone in front of a yellow, so opportunity to even tap your own up if you need to. Potomac now.
He'd like to get behind this red.
Yes.
He's going to be a little tight, though.
Yeah, tight on the line, trying to sweep it to hold it out there. It's not. It's going to tap. Now you don't want to hope you overswept it and tap the red in.
How much did he tap this in? Oh, he put it onto the rings, which is not good.
No, just comes inside, and now
second shot.
Sitting second shot.
And rocks in the rings can always eventually score.
Yes, and actually a nice angle too there. Easily you can tap that red back onto the yellow Potomac stone as well.
Which is what the skip is looking at for sure.
Yep, tapped it and says, bump this one.
Yes. It's always a funny game. You can make your opponent's shots for them. You try not to do that too often. I think they did that time.
But now you got to make it. And this one looks a little narrow as well.
A little light as well.
So trying to now draw. Now you don't want to.
Oh, it's on the guard.
Just of an angle. Hopefully he didn't tap the yellow in. Got it closer to the house, but this one will stay out front.
Kept himself a corner guard though, which is not a bad result.
And opens up the middle as well.
Right. So yeah.
So Potomac gonna now.
Could have been worse.
Yes, seeing that now. Also, the red rolling over makes the red tap a little bit harder now. So Potomac definitely wanting to guard up between the 4-foot line and the center line there, just in front of the house. Kind of take away both angles at that yellow stone. Stone's on its way. We're sweeping to hold the line. As this ice slows down, the rocks seem to be getting a little extra curly as we get here later in the ends at the everybody out there.
Pebble breaks down and
Pebble breaks down. Everybody's huffing and puffing and sweating. It gets a little more moist. You get a little more frost out there, and
that's one thing about curling. You've got to play to the ice conditions. It's not like playing basketball up and down the court where the court doesn't change. It can change, and you got to. That's a real part of the curling is to be able to read the ice and adjust for not always changing conditions, but it can change. And being a summer spiel here, they're doing a great job with the ice. The ice is very good, but there's more humidity in the building than would be if you played in the middle of a winter.
Yes. It's like golfers having to read greens. You
Right.
start off early in the day and they're slow, there's dew on them, and then as they dry out, they speed up, and you got to adjust your putts accordingly. So very similar.
That's a great point.
Scottish games usually play off each other. I have a rock of a varying size. I need to go a distance. I can't carry it. I can't throw it. So I got to do something else, and I'm yelling at it the whole time because it's not going where I want it to go. And then afterwards, we have shots.
So the triangle had a bit of they nicked the guard there, and it didn't really move that nice yellow guard. The shot rock is in the 8-foot. It's an okay shot. Now, it's a shot that sometimes you would guard, sometimes you wouldn't. It's in a pretty good spot. I might be tempted myself to draw in behind that center guard, try to get another nice one in with the other turn. They seem to want to just plug the hole here with another guard. There's enough guards that this strategy could work. There's an awful lot of guards out front.
I think the fact that the rud guards also are kind of making that tap even harder, why they can't feel a little bit more comfortable here. But this one's going to glide a little bit and it's going to come down to the red stone.
It's not bad. It's angled on that red that they can't really use that red in there. The skip is it wisely knows that the center line guard is the problematic rock right now, and he's asking his vice to peel it.
Place on the way with the rock, sweeping, trying to hold that line. They just want to catch the edge of it, starting to over curl a little bit.
It's going to be a no, it's a nice peel. Oh,
drives
look
it
at this.
back onto the stone though, but noses and sticks around.
And the yellow rock's in a little better position.
A little bit higher up now, a little bit harder to get to, having moved just about a foot forward.
A little unlucky there. They basically, that's what we call a jam. They jammed the yellow rock onto the yellow rock.
And now Potomac looking to, well, we need to put a better guard up, obviously, because they're going to try that again.
They're really trying to block the draw path into the button. If you go to the left to the right right now, you really can't draw into the button. But this turn that they're playing, you can draw into the button right now really nicely. So Potomac wants to put a rock in that blocks this draw path for the triangle team. A lot of curling is to make the other team's life miserable. That's kind of what they're trying to do.
Sometimes making your shot is just making it so they can't make theirs.
Yes, that's a really good way to put it. This doesn't look overly heavy. You don't want to hog this.
Oh,
I think he's okay.
I think we're gonna get over there. Just trying to sweep it, trying to prevent it from over curling. I think. Now
they want it to move. They'd be really happy, really close to the center line. That's a good shot.
Yeah,
that's a good
come
shot.
To rest here. Just touching the center line, blocking that right side. Really, as you can see, looking down the sheet there, plugging that hole up.
I think you could get in there between those two yellow rocks, but it's not easy. Their Skip and the Vice are really having a good conversation. He doesn't feel comfortable with that rock, so it's in a good place. They're going to try to peel it.
Yeah, you don't want to accidentally, if you're a little bit wide here, you don't want to come down and chip this yellow, because that yellow is going to kick your own red out the side. So
right.
That's why, yes, there is a hole there, but it's a very tight hole. Only reserved for the finest of skips to,
definitely a real team shot to get in there with the line calling, the sweeping, and the right weight from the shooter.
And a little bit of luck.
And some good luck. And sometimes with the ice by the seventh end, not too easy.
So trying to peel the center guard there, reopen that hole a little bit up. Stone's on its way, over curling here.
Yes.
Can we get another angle again? This one goes over top.
He made the peel. I'm not sure he was quite playing it that way, but it worked out perfect. A perfect peel.
Not the way we drew it up, but the end result was just as we expected.
So the Potomac Skip will try to put that rock right where he had it before. So see if he can repeat.
And sometimes it's just this trading back and forth, and you have to wait on a miss. And then once that miss happens, that's when you capitalize. That's when you pounce.
So the Potomac, they're going to time this. They'll know what kind of weight they're going to throw because they had the weight on the last shot. If it's a little bit lighter, they'll get on it to sweep it a little more.
I think it might be over curling a little bit, though. It might have been a little inside. They don't want this to come to rest on the left side of the center line, which it's going to dive.
It's not going to bump off that
right there.
So that they couldn't repeat. So he's going to give. He looks like he's trying to play the soft hit, and he could get two here, right?
Yes, triangle now. If they can come down, get out my little telestrator here. If they can come down to this yellow stone and bump it back, a possibility can get two here and retake the lead here in the seventh end.
Some teams would just draw the same way that last draw came in, take their one. It would be an easier shot. This is a little more aggressive. Skip likes it. He's playing it.
You're expecting this from Dave Schmel. I don't know. You should watch it.
Is that a backpack?
Nope.
What is it?
Banana costume for your head.
Looks a little tight here. Oh, he's throwing this well inside. I don't think he's going to get anywhere near this. Yeah.
Stone's on its way.
He's very tight.
Oh yeah, that's going to wreck.
It's going to be a steal of one.
A steal of one for Potomac. So now after 7 ends, Potomac Shores from Potomac Curling leading Team Pierogi from Triangle by a score of 6-4.
Is it a kid on costume or grown-up costume?
Down to the last end here.
Yes, down to a live action there, as we have Potomac Shores from Potomac Curling Club leading 6-4 over Team Pierogi from Team Triangle.
It's kind of been interesting to start of the end. Potomac team, I think, should have tried to drill the rock into the rings. They came up with light through a center line guard, which is probably not the best strategy when you're up to. Usually you try to steal, but in the 8th end, probably better to go in the rings. And the Triangle team went around, which was a good shot. They're just behind the button, not almost on the button. And then the Potomac team is a little unlucky. They actually split the guards, and they've actually gave, even though they're the Yellow Rocks, there's 2 corner guards up there now. So I would say right now that after Triangle has just thrown another rock into the house, that Triangle set up pretty good here to maybe get a multiple end. We'll see how it works out.
Triangle able to actually, like you said there, draw there actually into the house behind one of those corner yellow guards set up now, with 1 rock sitting right on the button and now 1 under cover. They don't mind if Potomac makes a run at this stone, trying to come on in and hit the one right on the button. Sweepers are on it, holding the line and able to make contact and tap it back, sitting now 1, but completely exposed over the middle. Triangle could even try a hit and roll. Looks right now they're just content to make it go away, because if they trade center line hits here, as long as they keep making them, with the hammer advantage, they'll be able to hit that and score 2.
And if it's a tied game, and then it's a skips throws of the button and an extra end.
Stone's on its way here, coming on in, holding the line, trying to keep it from over curling. This is just gonna
Nose hit.
hit just on nose. And once again now, sitting 2 for Triangle.
Potomac would like to hit this and just move it a little closer over towards the other red stone. They want to kind of group the stones, and Triangle would try to keep the stones separated right now.
Stone coming down on its way. Looks like it's got plenty of line here. Gonna curl nicely. It should curl nicely here. Starting to
See on that
be
guard?
a little heavy as we peel off one of our own guards. It does.
That's a bad break, because it now can set the Triangle team in to get the 3rd rock into the rings,
Yes, now just
or guard, but 3 rocks is what they need to win this game.
selecting just to go try and just bite the top of the 12-foot here, guarding their shot rock, but also then still counting a potential 3rd point.
The other way he could have called this is just to put the 3 rocks even with a draw, almost where his broom just was, and that could have been a strategy call too. But this isn't wrong.
Stone's coming down here, trying to over curl, make sure they get it by that yellow guard.
Yeah, it looks good. He's into the rings. He's sitting 3. Now the pressure's on the Potomac team.
Yes. Sitting with 3 stones in the house, 2 of them under cover. And you need to, if you're Potomac yellow, you got to get some of those out, because more than 1 in the house potentially sets you up to potentially lose this match.
Yes. Lisa's on her first shot. She's going to try a little hit and roll here.
Stone's on its way. Sweepers are on it.
It's really curling. To get by this guard, they might be onto this. Oh, they nicked the guard.
Just ticks the guard and spills into the house, and enough weight it's going to sail through the back.
This Potomac team is getting in a lot of trouble here.
It's two great ends here, but now here on the 8th end, Triangle throwing it, everything they have into the house here, trying to maximize how many points they can get to try and tie this game or take the lead and win. Vice's first shot on the way.
I think you want to be really close to the rings here. Like a guard might hurt you later on in the end, but it looks like they got pretty good weight. They're a little biter here onto the 12-foot would be ideal, and they're not quite on the rings, but they're close enough.
Just about 6 to 8 inches outside the rings there, blocking off half of that shot rock. And what's really nice too is it's blocking the inside half so that Potomac can't really hit and roll underneath everything as well. If they're going to make contact, it's either going to be nose or on the outside and possibly spill out again.
So the Vice and the Skip here are talking it over with Potomac. They know they're in trouble. They've got to come up with something to get them out of a mess of trouble here. The Skip, he looked like he wanted to draw behind that the guard that just came in, and the Vice is more liking a hit more. I think they got to get. I like that rock there, like to go and to draw down onto the button, to freeze down in because you're up 2. If you could freeze onto that red rock, and it'd be buried, I think that's the shot. I like this call. Just got to make it. It's not easy. This is probably one of the key shots of the game right here.
Absolutely. This could really, if you make this shot, you put the pressure back on Triangle. You miss it, Triangle can really put another rock in there and make you have to do some work to try and salvage this game. Stone's on its way here in the 8th end. Rock on its way, gliding nicely here.
It's all about the weight. It looks pretty good. It's coming
Cooper's
down.
trying to now maybe just carve it over here at the very end, trying to make sure they get right in front of the red shot rock.
It's a really nice shot.
It's going to come right down and sit right in front of the shot stone
It's
for
a saying,
second shot.
Saying we have here in curling, you can't walk down them and put a rock in a better spot without throwing it. And that was really good. You couldn't have walked down and put that rock in a better place.
So now if you're Triangle, do you try and make a big hit here to splash both of them?
If you felt that you could throw a nice hit, you could hit that top red one in on an angle and spill that yellow out. Problem is hitting it this way, that yellow's not going to go anywhere right now. You'd want to hit it from the left to the right. You're hitting it to the right to the left, and that yellow one's not going, and he's really inside, but if you open this up a little bit, and
Moore's
might
going
not
to
be
make the play
bad.
on the red one.
Oh, look at that. He got a pretty good break on that.
Angles off of their shot in the top of the 8 foot, kicking it back to yellow, and then spilling one out the side. So now, yellow's still sitting shot. Triangle,
He did unfreeze it.
he did unfreeze it, locked it out. It's not frozen anymore to it, and it's now at T-line with no backing behind it. So
That's right. The backing is gone. A double bump on those reds would make that yellow go away pretty easily.
So Potomac looking almost, they need to draw in here, try and split the house themselves.
I think they want to get a second one in the house.
Yes, having one lonely yellow now with no backing now, it's definitely a precarious situation. They need to get something else in the house here, even if it's just out counting, because you don't want them to have second, third, and fourth stone.
No. There's a lot of red in that real estate in there right now.
Even possibly looking at a hit and roll off of the stone on the magnet back towards the button.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good call.
Even if they get a little bit deep, then it's still going to be buried behind those other red rocks. So
If he could hit the one and then kind of just flop over onto the one in the back. Again, if you sit in front of your opponent's rocks, they could jam. So that a little hit and flop here is, I think, the call into that area, kind of in front of that rock,
or even flip a little. Even this way.
flop. Yeah, they've come to a decision. Skip's first rock. Again, and I don't know if it was as big as the last shot, but all these shots are important with these rocks in play and such a close game.
And that's why the back ends get paid the big bucks, to make the tough decisions and make the tough shots. And then the back ends pay the front ends to do the sweepings to make up for their tough decisions and tough shots that they mess up.
Okay, he's playing the hit here.
Stone's on its way. Sweepers are on it hard now, trying to hold the line and the speed out. Can he get it to come over?
Looks like he's by the guard nicely. He's gonna hit and roll over. How much? Oh, that's a pretty nice shot. He's gonna sit 2.
Very nice. Flops over there. Back 4-foot. Buried behind. You may have a yellow double there, but you got to get to nose in that red stone sitting on top 4-foot.
I think
This might make you a little apprehensive, a little hesitant.
problem is if you do this draw, like he's tapping there now, you've got to score 2. So if you did make a beautiful draw in there, the Potomac team could just guard it, right?
Yep.
And make it really hard to get your 2. I kind of like running that top red into the other red to move these yellows out of there. The yellows are in a really good spot. I think you have to move the yellows a bit. That's what I would look at. I'm not sure about that hit. That's a tough hit too, from the outside
Yeah.
in. It's there. You have to throw a pretty good weight at that. It's a very precise shot. It's 2 wonderful shots the Potomac team made after getting themselves in a big pile of trouble this end. They made 2 wonderful shots on their last 2 shots.
Just kind of indicative of the entire game of how tight these teams have been playing, how trading chances they've had, that's why our score here sitting 6-4. Just each team trying to trade back and forth, and sometimes getting the lucky roll, sometimes not. And that's why it's a nice close game here, because you still have options. And sometimes is it worse when you have too many options?
Sometimes, yes.
Sometimes you wish, okay, I only have 1 shot to make, and I can just focus on that's my shot. Now I could do this. I could do this way. Well, what if we did this way? Now you're not overly confident on any particular one. Looks like they're going to play the outside hit on the yellow. Try and make the yellow double.
So it's a tough shot. It's there. I'm not sure if you hit it nice where you want it. The first yellow you hit, I don't know where it goes. It's still probably going to be a counter. It's kind of a shot you have to throw some pretty good weight at this to make the first yellow rock move out of the way that it's not counting. But well, here it comes. We'll see what it's going to do.
The broom is down. Skip is in the hack. And a big kick out as Stone is on its way. Watching the line intently, Skip and Vice. Sweepers just running with the rock.
Needs to be
now
swept.
trying to hold the line as it starts to curl here, approaching the hog line. It's going to over curl and hit the red stone.
Opens those yellows up a bit though. But,
Opens yellows up, kicks it to the back, still sitting for 3rd and 4th shot there now.
Right. So Potomac has to decide where they're going to place this rock. I might come in and sit 3. Triples are usually really hard.
So would you put it like right about here?
I might, yeah.
Or would
because
you try and come this way and come put it here?
I could either one. Like if you're up 2, right?
You're up 2
If
without
you're up,
hammer.
If you're up 1, I think I'd guard this. Or they could draw. But I think if you could get in there and sit 3, I think you'd make Triangle's last shot really tough.
I myself would rather kind of put a guard here because, like you said, triples are very hard.
Right.
And you have to try that. Otherwise, because this draw doesn't do you any good.
Right.
Drawing for 1 would not do you any good
Nope.
in this situation. So I think they're electing to go for.
They're trying to hit this back red and sit 3. Not a bad call. You want to stay though. He's tight to this guard. No, he's okay. and he hits it, and he sits
He
3.
hits 3.
I don't know how you score 2 here. That was a great shot.
Yeah, so it was a very nice shot. You have to pretty much throw a thunderbolt at this thing.
Yeah,
You gotta come straight down here into this. This kicks this way, then out. That goes that way.
Yep.
That spills that way. So
yeah, you'd have to hit that top yellow,
and you gotta sit around.
and you gotta sit around. It's there, but you have to hit it perfectly, I think.
Yep.
Almost around the wheel kind of a shot.
Yes.
Well, he's got a shot.
Yep.
I'm glad he's shooting it and I'm not.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is one where it's like, can I go get someone from the other sheet to throw this for me? Taking a look at it now from out front, making sure he's got enough room to get through those 2 red stones.
I think he's got the broom down. He's decided his path. This would be a spectacular shot if he made it.
If he makes this shot and sits 2, that'll tie the game, and we'll go to a skip stones to determine the winner.
He could be making one of the best shots of his career, and it'd still be just for a tie game.
Yeah. Anything less than, now he moves the broom back a little bit, and now decides, oh, we're going to come this way at it.
I think this is the way to come at it. It takes the guard out of play.
So red needing to sit 2 after this stone. Otherwise, it's a win for Potomac, and moving on in TropiCurl 2025.
Well,
On its way, it's a little wide, trying to get it to curl here at the end.
no, he's a little wide. I don't think he's going to make it.
And it's going to catch the red stone and bump it through, so a steal
Steal
of
a 3.
3 for Potomac. And that'll be our final, 9-4. Great game by the Potomac Curling Club and Triangle.
And for a 9-4 final score, it was a lot closer game than that.
Absolutely. And that'll do it for our feature broadcast. Todd, thank you very much for sitting in with me. I appreciate it.
No problem, Gus. It was a pleasure.
And still have some action going on in our other sheets, so tune over there. We also have more action coming with our next draw starting at 5:30, so we hope that you stick around here. And until we see you next time, this is Dustin Devine from the Pittsburgh Curling Club saying, have a great night.
That was fun. Thank you.